Imagine being able to simulate like 3 million views. Just imagine it eh? Daily. And you know how you see those movies where there is this hacker, and this hacker happens to sit on a computer just like this, and he happens to be monitoring the lives of lots of people, or he has remote access to thousands of people's computer and is monitoring them. He knows everything they're doing. He's able to turn on the street lights. He's able to check the CCTV camera at the airport. And he's able to hack into different resources, and he just has everything figured out. Lots of terminals. Now that is what I'm doing, right? But what I'm giving you access to, it's what would put you on that position. But this time around, you're like a god. Now, your creations are your bots. So, depending on how big your screen is, you can have thousands of bots having, different activities running daily. And why you just sit down there and you decide the fate of every single person and where you want to drive them to. The problem with this approach would have been bot detection. Oh my god, this thing is possible, but if we happen to start automating things across multiple platforms, won't they detect this is a bot? That is a problem. But that problem has been solved. I solved it with the bypassing of all bot detection systems, which is creating up a bot that checks every single thing that makes it look legitimate. The time zone checkout, the proxy, the way we set it and architect it checks out, the user agent, the navigators, there are no web drivers. They have a similar they have a same cookie, which is if they keep on automating things, they retain their cookies, they retain their local storage, they retain their sessions, they retain their user data directory. So basically, it's like a real browser on your computer. So each time it performs anything, it performs the same thing with that same, data, just like when you have a browser and you keep on opening it. And everything checks out like a real device. So that has already bypassed bot detection, especially the first phase, because bot detection has two phases. The first one is called device fingerprinting, which means your device, how good does it check out? Does this check out as a real device, or are there reasons why we should believe this is not a real device? This device is lying. Maybe the user agent is saying it's an iPhone, but the navigator.platform is saying it's Win32 or Mac Intel. So that means the user agent is claiming to be an iPhone, but the processor, which is the navigator, is actually saying it's a Mac Intel or it's a Windows 32, which is Windows computer. Or then maybe you have the WebGL, which is your render graphics that renders your canvas and the rest, saying this is completely NVIDIA GPU. We all know what NVIDIA is. NVIDIA is this GPU you put on your Windows computer. Good, but your user agent is saying you're an Android. So, is that what you do? Now, that is what we call fingerprinting. So I've bypassed all that. You guys know I'm good at that. So I've bypassed all that. Now, the second section, the most important one, is when you now start getting to talk about activities. Does the bot just perform an action? So it just does one particular thing. After it does that, it goes off, comes back again and does one particular thing. Or does the bot actually, automate things the way a human being would? And since it retains its state, it means it will always check out on all platforms. Google feels this is real because this is basically what an end user would do. But then how does the device behave like a human? Because writing scripts that behaves like a human, not really that easy. The mouse has to move, the scroll has to be real, they have to be random clicks, they have to be different things you search on Google, not just one static thing. They have to be different other websites. You should go to other websites, not just your own website. So there should be lots of activities a real human would do. That is what those bots should do. The bot should do real things a human being would. So the behavioral analysis checks out. So how do you do that? Do you have to keep on using every bot individually? Do you have to log into this particular bot? And now you're not doing automation. You're no longer a god. You're not a mortal, because you're not basically having to live in the shadow of everybody. Or could you just sit down and detect what everybody does and have it all work? Because I'm going insane because I'm going 360 on this. I keep beating my imagination. Guess what? I just figured out a way to completely make behavioral analysis check out all good. So yeah, we can actually be like that hacker who sits here having millions of bots running. But unlike where we have to live in the life of every one of those bots, we can seamlessly just let them do their thing. So how? Now let me show you how. First thing, I just implemented OpenAI to my bot. So this implements my bot right now can use GPT 3.5 Turbo to generate things they search for on Google. The Google search now is going to check out right now as real human search. Instead of saying search for top houses in London, I can just say come up with a Google search for a man in the US towards the evening, because it's an activity for the evening, who loves investment. Now there will be consistent search for every single one of these bots searching as a man who loves this, because there are always thousands and millions of men in the US who are always searching for something unique but in line, has to do with investment or scholarship, high CPC stuff, without actually using a high CPC keyword. Now you can automate more by making every single browser use GPT image recognition to actually see the page. So I don't know if you guys have heard of the GPT 4.00, where ChatGPT can actually use this visual, which is I think it's called their image recognition, which is I think recognition is for Amazon API. I think for OpenAI that's what we'll call it. I'm gonna check somewhere around the let's go to their GitHub, or should I just go to npm? No, let's go to their GitHub. Let's head over to OpenAI GitHub. So I'm gonna be implementing crazy ass things, but my only problem is I don't have the time. Once I'm in this place, I want to code. I want to pieces everything. I want to go 360. I want to go down and keep picking up the puzzles, putting them down, dissecting, drawing, planning, putting up the architecture over and over again. So I figure out every single way we go God mode on this whole shit. But man, the next second right now, I will now have to head over to my WhatsApp, start talking to customers, things will start going in a way like it's, whenever I'm not actually present in my business, it's somehow, people don't really know how sold I'm in this stuff, right? So I'm like typically sold in. So now let me tell you my approach. So I've been able to implement GPT today fully. I think I now start not too long. GPT works perfectly fine. I'm doing a bit on the recognition, where ChatGPT would be the one to, not really ChatGPT, but OpenAI image recognition endpoint will be the one to like streamline exactly what you want to do. So let's say for instance I want to head over to a website and I want to click on something. Sorry. I want to click on something on that website. I can actually use the recognition system to navigate around the website and click on something. So I can write a prompt that says track high CPC advertisements, for instance. And now the puppeteer script, or the bot specifically, which you have gotten on okecbot, because each time you switch on a bot on okecbot, it pops up. So what pops up is called a puppeteer script. So the puppeteer script in real time would be streaming like feedback to OpenAI to track the advertisement. So basically ChatGPT is the one going through your website to find advertisements. Now where there's a very big problem is that this is going to take a whole lot of token back and front information. It's going to be causing lots of problem, because I mean your tokens, your GPT tokens, your OpenAI tokens, you're likely want to get exhausted. So I now discovered that I could actually intercept, and because we have ad blockers, so right, I know those endpoints where those ads come in. So instead of blocking the ads, I would intercept the ads to know when the ads are coming, then employ GPT to track up the ads, then return back a coordinate and have the puppeteer script, fire up or trigger up that event to, click on the X and Y coordinates as specified by OpenAI. So it's basically OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, becomes the eyes of the puppeteer to see what is happening on the website and to click on it. Now we still have more advanced stuff to make each bot have its own life. So I can basically say I want to create a student, and I can fine-tune that student to be like a real human being that will have a real life, and they're always there coming to my website to actually click and increase my CPC and ads revenue.